Now you can see I've prepared the canvas with just a layer of black acrylic, and that's dry. I did that for contrast so you would be able to see really easily what I'm doing, but this applies to any kind of landscape painting at all, really. And then with some oil paint, the filbert brush, I went in and painted these tree trunks. I got a small one and a couple larger ones, just so you can see different sizes. Now today I'm going to show you a few tips on how to create tree leaves, really just one kind, these big deciduous trees, we won't go into anything else. But there's a couple of tricks and some techniques that you may not be familiar with that will bring your trees really to the next level. So we're going to jump into that. So I've got the fan brush, and the colors are kind of irrelevant. Whatever you want to play around with is fine today. My darks are already established pretty much. So I'm just going to go right into here, some of my yellows, browns, whatever. And I'm going to this is a very simple and easy way to, this is my furthest away tree. I'm imagining a canopy and a little road or something down the middle in the context of a painting. Again, I'm just going to show you the leaves. That's all I care about today. Now our light, we do have to determine, is coming through this way, just like that. And see, I'm tapping. Now you think, well, this isn't going to turn out so great. But look, by tapping and crunching, I'm just laying down paint. This is kind of your first tip, really. Get the paint down. I'm going to create this canopy of tree leaves. I'm using a fan right now. A 2-inch, you could use a 2-inch brush or a 1-inch brush. It doesn't really matter. What matters is I do have some amount of variation in color, some variation in value, but I'm just trying to get more or less just the canvas filled in. Not totally solid. I've got some of my black background. Typically it would be a colored background showing, but again, I think you can actually see the brush strokes better on this black canvas. Here's really where the first secret is of painting these tree leaves. And this is something I've done recently. I haven't always done this. You don't always have to do it, but I like it. Take a crumpled up shop towel. Could you use a paper towel? Yes. Do it once and you'll never do it again, and you'll see why I don't do it. Yeah. I mean, an old t-shirt would be better, honestly, than a paper towel. So here we go. I've got it crumpled, and that's actually kind of part of the secret right there. See that? See all those leaves? Yeah, I see tree leaves right there. I'm going to start just anywhere and begin to dabble. And you've seen me do this, but you may not have known kind of what I was doing. Number one, I'm removing paint, and that is the biggest thing that I'm doing. I'm removing extra paint so that I can highlight. But another little thing that's going on that you may not have noticed is I'm actually creating tree leaves in the midst of all of this. I'm actually smushing in color, see that? And creating these canopies just by tapping. See how I tap all that together, mush it all together? This would take you ages. I don't know how you would get that without really struggling and agonizing with a small brush. But look, I'm getting all of that interest very quickly. You take your tree trunk and you can set those back with a dark tree trunk. See that? Beautiful, okay? So now that you've got some light, then maybe you want to bring some darks, and you might go in there and, well, I'll just tap these leaves on and leave them. But check this out. Rather than spending so much time, this is kind of my tip number 2, rather than spending so much time on your leaves, just throw them on and go back and mush them. Check this out, and leave big pockets. See how I'm leaving giant pockets there? And again, with the shop towel, they do come in these little rolls, just like paper towels do. There. And they are in the hardware section, though, just for your reference. And you can go to automotive stores, and you can just buy them online. It's probably the most convenient. There you go. And I'm just dabbling, but you see how that made thousands of little leaves. Every time I stamp there, I'm creating a little bit more definition in this area. See that? And what I've been talking and painting, mostly talking, and in moments I've got that nice little leaf canopy. There's a lot going on in that. Now, coming forward, it does help to have 2 brushes, one for light, one for dark. Coming forward, I'm going to layer over this. I'm going to layer over this maybe some of our yellows and white. Just something kind of bright. Oh, that's pretty. So I'm going to just tap on what feels like just some background leaf mush. See this here? Background leaf mush. Excellent. All right, see, again, not having to do anything perfectly. In fact, if it looks like it's crazy and it looks like it's out of control, you know you're in the right direction, you're gonna be fine. It's when it starts to look too perfect too quickly that I begin to say, well, that may not turn out good. But when you're rough and sloppy in the beginning, it's gonna be fine. Trust me, it really will. It'll be fine. There we go. And crumple it up. See that? Because the crumpling action gets you a lot, well, there we are, gets you a lot of those just individual, they either look like leaves or branches, you know, within the tree. It's kind of important. So now I'm going to dabble again. Now this tree is closer. It's supposed to be closer in the context of our little practice painting here. So rather than doing exactly what we did here, I'm going to actually do this a little less. And I'm going to work in these clumps. See, I'm taking, I don't know if you can really tell on the video, but I'm going to explain. I'm literally taking just a portion of that towel and just working on this little limb cluster right here. And then I'm going to skip over here and do the same. This is like right here, a little portion of that limb cluster, not the whole tree at once. See that? There we go. Now look at that. Instantly, I've got a much better effect. See the difference? You may need a little more color up there. Boom, just lay it on. See how bad it looks to begin with? And then as you tap it in, mush it in, it really starts to look good. This does two things. It removes that paint so that I can highlight over top, and it creates a lot of texture fast. You can almost leave it that way. I mean, really, you could almost leave it that way. And I did in the background. But when you go to highlight, if you go to do this before you do your comma strokes, you'll find that you've got to do, I'd say about 2,000 comma strokes less if you do it this way first. You skip this step, you'll be painting comma strokes till midnight. Ask me how I know. Comma strokes. Should we get into how to do comma strokes? Probably. Really, I wanted to show you the shop towel thing because I think, you know, I've done it so much recently in my paintings, but I kind of just blow through it and not really explain exactly what's going on and what I'm looking at. I'm really looking, when I'm putting those colors down, I'm looking at the layers. I want layers, and then I go back and I try not to cover. See how I've still got gaps of dark? That's important. So now as I come in and I do these little comma strokes here, I'm focusing mostly on the outer edge of that tree. I don't have to worry so much about the interior of the tree, you know, a few smattering ones here and there, just for the sake of doing it. If you're new here, I've taught comma strokes a lot, but they're literally just little overlapping X strokes, commas, whatever, just dots that connect. This isn't a lesson on painting trees by any stretch. I'm just trying to show you how to paint these tree leaves, these deciduous leaves, because once you get the hang of them, oh man, they really open up a lot of possibilities where you can get some really cool paintings really quick. And I guarantee you, if you're painting trees any other way, I'm going to save you an hour by doing that shop towel trick. Guarantee it. There, so just continue to smatter on these. You know, these still take a few minutes. The bigger they are, typically the faster you did them. The smaller they are, the more you slow down. So in other words, if you want small leaves, you got to slow down. And that's just the way it is. Up to this point, I've not found a way to bypass that. Because when you go fast, you slam down harder. If you could figure a way to barely graze the canvas, you know, and do it still fast, great. That's kind of what is needed. Yeah, kind of hold the brush there and just barely. It's still not the same. When you do them slow, they just come out different. When you do them fast, they come out bigger, typically. See how there's a big shape and it's kind of fuzzy because of the shop towel? I can take a few of these branches and pull out some leaves right on top of them. See that? Without having to restate every single thing. Just let most of it be that softness. And just a few areas will be this detail. See the difference? Oh, big difference. To me, big difference. And it's really the #1 secret here to painting tree leaves, in my opinion, for me, recently. I mean, and things change and things will change again. That shop towel makes a big difference, and I don't typically just wipe on, I will typically blot it and use it kind of as a tool, use it as a painting tool. And again, any kind of cotton rag will work, anything will work but a paper towel because it sheds lint, or worse, you'll have somebody's logo smattered right across your paint in the texture. That's not fun. Now you see I'm building up a lot of paint, pretty much done by the time you're doing stuff like this, so I'm okay with that. I tell you, I could in moments take this to a full, complete painting. I see a road coming through the middle, you know? Wouldn't be hard at all. Just a few quick techniques, I tell you, you can have a painting done in no time. So anyway, that gives you an idea. That is like the number one thing to me for how to paint effective trees. Use the shop towel to blot your big shapes. Don't cover it all up. In the background, you can layer. You saw how I did the light, the dark. You know, you might start with dark and then light depending on what your canvas is, but it's all good. And it makes a big difference. And then the commas go so much more smoothly than they would otherwise. And of course, if you need more information on painting trees, you can learn how to paint just about any tree if you visit my website and get the technique series. There's several of them on trees. Well, that wraps up this lesson. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing it. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already, and click the like button. That helps me out a lot. Stick around, watch a couple more videos, and stay inspired.